In this video, we're visiting Bokor National Park. The entrance to the park is approximately 9 kilometres from Kampot, but the ride up to the summit is a windy 32 kilometres. Altitude reaches 1,079 metres above sea level, so the higher up you go, the cooler it gets. It's really busy here today, but I think part of the reason is because it's Khmer New Year this weekend, so everyone's out. So if you're coming out with that time, I wouldn't imagine it would be as busy as this. Where am I going? Where am I pointing? That is an impressive monument. So underneath all these animal statues, people have left like money, and we're just trying to work out what it is because we don't have any access to our phones up here. There's no service, so we can't Google it, so we're just gonna guess. Like, I'm wondering if maybe, like, you know, with the Chinese New Year, they have like the Year of the Monkey, Year of the Pig. So I'm wondering if it's something to do with that, and maybe you put money under the one that corresponds to your birth. Or maybe it's something like that brings, maybe the Cambodians are quite superstitious like the Thai people, and they like each animal represents some kind of like fortune. I'm not sure. So across from the monuments there's a little path that leads to 3 abandoned buildings, and one of them is King Sihanouk's residence, and it was built in 1936, but they're all abandoned now. I read online that the Chinese have bought a lot of this land and they're planning to build on it, so that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, worth having a little look at these abandoned mansions. It's starting to rain.
I love it. I love it.
It's quite strange seeing all these unfinished buildings in a national park. Apparently they're meant to all be completed by 2035 under the Master Plan for Boker City Development Project. It will cover 9,000 hectares of land. I'm glad we visited when we did.
We're at an old Buddhist monastery, Buddhist temple, and it's really cloudy, you hear the thunder. It's not as cool as I thought it would be, but it's slightly cooler. And they're playing really loud music. I love the contradictions.
Wow, it's been a long time since I've been this close to clouds. It's pretty phenomenal just watching the clouds drifting up the mountain edge. Wow. Oh my god, the fog has literally rolled in and I can actually hardly see like 10 feet in front of me. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, maybe like 30 feet. I'm slightly scared about the drive back down this mountain if it's going to be like this, because yeah, visibility is really bad right now.
If there's something to worry about, Romana will worry about it.
I don't know if the loud music is just because it's New Year or if it's like this all the time, but it's a bit of a kind of contradiction. Like, you don't expect to see a temple and monks and crazy like dance music, but...
Modern monks. What we thought was an abandoned building, we said, oh, that must be abandoned building over there. It's actually a hotel. It's in service, active hotel right now. It looks bloody awful from the outside. It's called Thansur Sokha Hotel. It's not got the best reviews, but apparently you can, if you have money, you can buy anything, buy any bit of land up here. It's all up for grabs.
We decided that before we leave this national park we could do with a little hot drink. So we've decided to see what this hotel is actually like inside. It's quite strange in here, but because the weather is like all misty outside and we're in like a really big hotel, it almost feels like we're back home in Scotland and we're having hot drinks. And I have to say the hot chocolate's really nice. And actually Ewan said the reviews of this place weren't very good, but they're mixed. Like there actually are, it does have good, quite high score on the reviews on Google. So I mean, it'd be quite an odd place to maybe stay because it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but I think to pop in for a little cuppa, it's worth having a wee look around anyway.
If anybody remembers the Overlook Hotel, do you remember that? The Shining? This is what it reminds me of.
Boy, I bet you we could really have a good party in this room, huh?
I hadn't thought about that, but you're right.
It's the Overlook. And you know what happened there?
The toilets here are really, really clean. They smell amazing. And I was actually handed paper towels from a lady that was working in the toilet to dry my hands. So I have to say that the staff are very, very friendly here. So my summary is a pretty ugly building from the outside, but a decent cup of coffee and hot chocolate. Quite expensive for Cambodia, but still, you know, $3 each, so not that bad. And yeah, worth it if you want to just kind of have a little seat, use the toilet, and have a hot drink.
It's called Bokor Palace, but there's nothing palatial about this. It's pretty underwhelming. It's a hotel, cost a fortune to stay there. It needs a lick of paint, but it seems to be a bit of a highlight here. Quite strange.
I had a look on booking.com to see how much this place costs to stay the night next week. Not that we're gonna, just wanted to see. And it was £269 for a room, a suite in the hotel. It looked fine, but it wasn't like blow your socks off amazing, the room. Didn't look like that anyway. So yeah, don't think I'll be spending my money to stay here, but from the outside it's pretty creepy looking. You could imagine some kind of horror movie being set here. It also doesn't really look like there's anyone staying here, you know, like despite the fact it kind of looks dilapidated from the outside, like all the windows have got like shutters over them and stuff. We'll have a wee look round the back and see if that looks any different. Apparently it's got an outdoor jacuzzi, so we'll see if we can spot that.
If I was pulling up here, you know, to stay for a few nights and I saw this place, I'd be really pissed off. I'd be really disappointed. We'd be like, you know, okay, appearances can be deceptive and all that, but first impressions, you want to get it kind of right on the outside and you're like, well, that looks nice, because it is actually quite a nice building, kind of. It's kind of like, it looks quite kind of French colonial, but it just needs a kind of lick of paint or something, you know?
But it's so odd, like there's just like none of the windows like are kind of really open. It's strange.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing, this, because it's like a hotel, but loads of people are taking pictures of it and videos like us. I don't think I've done that before, like, unless it's like it's like kind of like Buckingham Palace of Cambodia. I don't know if that's the same comparison.
But Ewan's right, it could look really, really good. Like if they just kind of invested a bit of money and time in it. And it could actually be somewhere really cool to come and stay, but right now it's not really selling it to me. I'm also guessing that all the people that are here right now are probably just tourists like us, just coming to have a look. Bokor Palace Hotel was originally built by the French in the 1920s to escape the oppressive heat. Many people of wealth and importance visited the hotel until the start of the First Indochina War in 1946, when it was abandoned and eventually burnt out. In 1962 it reopened with the addition of a casino, but 10 years later it was abandoned once more as the Khmer Rouge took over the area. In the late 1990s, Boker Hill was one of the last strongholds of the Khmer Rouge. In 2018 it was renovated and once again reopened as a hotel. It's sad that it now looks like this only 4 years later, but maybe that's part of its charm. And apparently, when the cloud isn't in front of us, there's actually a really spectacular view from up here. But today, ain't no view, just fog. So I think we found the jacuzzi, unless there's another one somewhere. And at first we were like, oh, that looks really nice. And then we looked closer at the water. To be fair, it is cordoned off, so maybe it's not open right now to people staying. But yeah, I don't think I'd be wanting to go in that jacuzzi. So, Bokor National Park was not exactly what we expected, but honestly, we're so glad that we visited, as it was such a different day to anything else we've experienced in Cambodia so far. If you're visiting Kampot and want to breathe in some cool mountain air, we definitely recommend a trip to Boker. More videos from Cambodia coming soon. Thanks for watching!